Hey, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy, Jada King Hefner, and the beautiful Secretary Tsunade Star, and we're back again for another show. And in this episode, we're doing a movie review on Blade Runner 2049, and we'll get to that right about now. Hey guys, me and the beautiful Secretary Tsunade Star got a chance to watch Blade Runner 2049, and it takes place 30 years after the original movie. Both movies focus on replicants, which are bioengineered humans, and they are used as slave labor to build off-world colonies. Replicants were outlawed in both movies, but the difference is, in Blade Runner 2049, they're not only outlawed, but they are prohibited from being manufactured. And the Tyrell Corporation, who developed replicants, has went bankrupt. A guy named Wallace actually purchased what was left of the Tyrell Corporation, and he upgraded the replicants to make them obey. Because if you remember Blade Runner, they weren't obeying any damn body. Also, in this movie, they had a lot of older replicants running around, but they had open-ended lifespans, because in the first Blade Runner, they had a lifespan of only 4 years. But I'm assuming at some point in time, a lot of them figured out how to extend their lifespan, so now they can live pretty much forever. Of course, they're still being hunted down by Blade Runners, but in Blade Runner 2049, a lot of the Blade Runners, from my understanding, are actually replicants. And so is the star of this movie. His name is Kay, and he's played by Ryan Gosling, and he's definitely a replicant. Now, this Blade Runner started out with a little bit more action, a little bit more oomph, but it's something about these Blade Runners where they're just bland. They have this stale feeling to them where, once again, if you don't sit down with your mind made up to watch this movie, you may not get through this movie. And it's just like its predecessor in that regard. Once again, in the movie, LA looks super futuristic, but the timeline is so way off, and I know they couldn't predict that back in 1982, but they have LA looking so futuristic that the whole world would have to get wiped away and rebuilt for us to reach that type of technology. And I don't know about you guys, but it takes them 3 years to build a stretch of road in my city. So for them to make a city look that futuristic, it's gonna take a hell of a long time and our evolution. They might need to rename this movie Blade Runner 3049, and a city being developed like that will seem a little bit more realistic. This movie centers around a Blade Runner named Kay, and he's accompanied in this movie by his girlfriend named Joy. She's a hologram AI, so she doesn't have a physical body, and he can basically carry her around anywhere he goes. In the beginning of this movie, Kay actually found out that a replicant from 30 years ago had become pregnant and given birth. When his superiors found out this, they were going crazy. They said it would shake up the world, and they ordered him to immediately try to track down that baby if it exists. The only clue Blade Runner Kay had to solve the case was a serial number from an eyeball. So he went to the Wallace facility to investigate their serial number. When he got to the facility, he met Wallace's assistant. Her name was Love. When he found out she had a name, he said, "Man, he must really like you because he gave you a name. And don't you remember my video? It's all in the name." Even the Blade Runner said, when they give you a name, they really like you, because he didn't have a name. His name was just K and a lot of numbers. So I thought that was very interesting that even the Blade Runners and the other replicants know if you got a name, you are special. When Kay and Wallace's assistant Love were doing their investigation on their serial number, they ended up pulling up a file that played an audio. And on this audio, it actually played Deckard talking to Rachel from the previous Blade Runner movie. So it basically ID'd Rachel as being the pregnant replicant whose remains they found. After that, Kay leaves to continue the investigation, and Assistant Love goes to meet with her boss, Wallace. And when Wallace came on the scene, I'ma be quite honest, I'm still confused, but he seems like a replicant his damn self. So in that meeting, he basically ordered her to do the same thing that Blade Runner Kay was doing. He basically told her, you need to hunt down Rachel and Decker's baby. A little later, Kay is talking to his AI girlfriend, Joy, and they begin to think that maybe he's the child that he's looking for, because he has a toy that has the same serial number on it as a tree he saw on one of his missions. Replicants are supposed to have fake implanted memories, so he doesn't want to believe that it's anything more than a coincidence. Kay ended up going to a hospital where he thought Rachel might have had the baby to continue the investigation. When he got to that hospital, he ran across a boiler room from a childhood memory that he thought was fake. He also found a toy he hid in that boiler room as a kid. But keep in mind, he thought this was an implanted memory. So I thought that was a real cool development. He ended up going to meet what they call a memory maker. And this woman makes the memories for all of the replicants. And all of the replicants say she makes the best memories. They say her memories make their lives feel more real. And he asked her, why are you so good? And she said, I'm alone and I can't leave out of this room because of my medical condition. So it forces me to stretch my imagination more than the average person. And it just made me think of what I've alluded to in the past. People don't use their imagination enough, and they ended up losing their ability. And she sort of alluded to that in this movie, saying, hey, I had to stretch my imagination. And since I have to imagine people being out of this room and doing real activities, it makes all of the memories I make more alive. She also confirmed that his memory was indeed real. Later on, Kay ended up going home, and his AI girlfriend Joy had a human escort there waiting on him. Joy merged with the human escort so she could make love to Kay. But I was thinking to myself, man, my companion dogs are already better than her because they don't need to merge with any damn body for me to make love to them. Now, I don't make love to them, but guess what? They don't need no help making love to me if we decide to go that route. After they made love, he ended up finding some clues as to where his childhood toy was made. When he went to that area, he was actually followed by Wallace's assistant, Love. But when he got to that site, that's where he finally ran across Decker. When he found Decker, Decker wasn't in the mood for talking. He thought that Kay was there to kill him, so he immediately was trying to kill Kay. So they were going at it for a while before they finally stopped. And when Kay calmed him down, he got a chance to ask him about Rachel. And he also said, man, why did you leave the child? Why didn't you stick around? Because at that point, he still was thinking, hey, I'm that child. Why did you leave me? Decker went on to explain that he did it for the safety of the child and for the safety of Rachel. But no sooner than he said that, Assistant Love came trying to kill both of them and damn near did. She put Kay in a bad situation and she captured Decker. Luckily, Kay was saved by this rebel replicant force that was planning this uprising. And they basically let him know, you are not the chosen child. The chosen child is a girl. And that threw him all the way off because he really thought that he was the child of Decker and Rachel. After the earlier fight with Love, Decker was captured and he was getting interrogated by Wallace, the guy that bought the Tyrell Corporation. Luckily, Kay came to rescue him and he ended up in this big knockdown, drag-out fight with the assistant Love, and they were going at it. Of course, Kay ends up killing her and he takes Decker to his daughter because he realized Decker's daughter was the memory maker. Hey guys, so my final synopsis on this movie is, once again, it's damn near like the first Blade Runner. Entertainment-wise, I would give it about a 5, maybe a 6 at the most, but conceptually, I would give it about a 7. And if you remember, I gave the first Blade Runner about an 8. I believe it was a bit more progressive in my opinion. But this movie did stimulate me conceptually, so I enjoyed it and I'm glad I did watch it. But once again, it's still that type of movie that you have to make your mind up to see. You have to sit your butt down and say, I'm watching this movie no matter what. Other than that, you'll end up cutting it off. So if you really want to watch it, you got to make your mind up and sit your butt down. With all that said, we hope you guys enjoyed the review of Blade Runner 2049. We would love for you guys to hit those subscriptions and notifications. But for right now, me, Jada King Hefner, and the beautiful Secretary Tsunade Star, we are